Welcome back, everybody, to the Meeple Marathon and another Gamefound preview. This time for Robinson Crusoe Adventures on the Cursed Island, the Collector's Edition. Now, they had teased out, Portal Games that is, had teased out that they were going to be either crowdfunding or releasing a book of adventures, which would have been all of the scenarios that had ever come out for Robinson Crusoe, along with some additional ones, that they would be releasing that sometime this year. It got people very excited, but then just a few weeks ago, they released this information that they were partnering with Awaken Realms to help create miniatures for the game, which look amazing. And add a whole bunch of additional content to Robinson Crusoe. Now, I will say that Robinson Crusoe is one of my top 10 favorite games, especially to play solo because it is very thinky. I want to just be able to sit there and make my decisions no matter how many characters I'm playing with. It is a tough game, certainly, but the variety of scenarios really just kind of changes the game each time enough that you feel like you're getting a different play experience, which is what makes the game really great, in my opinion. So what the Collector's Edition is doing here is not only putting just a new version of Robinson Crusoe Adventures on the Cursed Island out there, but they're also just they're not changing the game, they're just adding to it to make it even better. So let's take a look here at what is involved with this campaign. So there is a video here. It is rather long though, by Ignacy, so I'm not going to play it. You can play it yourself. Obviously go to gamefound.com and check it out, but it's like 5 minutes long, so I didn't want to waste all our time here. You can see that we've only been going here less than 30 minutes, and it's already funded. And here is lots of awards that this game has won over the years. Like I said, it's in a lot of people's favorites list, so its accolades are very recognizable. But what is the Collector's Edition going to get you? Let's see here. All right. Here we go. All right, so here's the different reward levels based on whether or not you are starting fresh with Robinson Crusoe, you just want to try it out, or you have previous copies of Robinson Crusoe and you just want the upgrades, do you just want the Book of Adventures? So this first one is essentially, like it says, everything new. So this is going to have a brand new copy of Robinson Crusoe Adventures on the Cursed Island. It's going to be the Collector's Edition, and you're going to get the Book of Adventures, which at this moment in time is like 50 scenarios that you can play, which is amazing. There's 7 in the base game, and it feels like a lot. Then you could just pledge the Book of Adventures, which, again, if you are a veteran to the game and you have all the other content and you don't care about cool miniatures or a big giant box to fit everything in, then this is perfect for you. At a reasonable price, you are probably going to triple the amount of scenarios that you can play and have never played. Or maybe you just want the base box. You like the minis, you want to be able to paint them up, but you've never played Robinson Crusoe, so you don't want to go all in on 50 scenarios. You don't know whether you'd play them all. You just want the upgraded content, and you want to give Robinson Crusoe a try. Here you go, Collector's Edition pledge for $85. Then here is what is essentially the upgrade pledge, or as they're calling it, the veteran pledge. This is going to include basically an empty box, the large box. It's going to include all the miniatures probably in that box, and it's also going to include the adventures, the Book of Adventures, and the Open and Play campaign, which is interesting because if you're a veteran of the game, you don't need the Open and Play campaign. You are familiar enough with the rules that you don't need to be walked through the first 4 scenarios step by step. But what the Open and Play campaign is doing, and we'll look at it more here in a little bit, is like what Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion did. They take it where the map is all out in front of you. You just are turning pages in the book. You don't have to place tiles out, and they're literally giving you step-by-step instructions on which actions to take and so on and so forth, so you can learn the game through playing these first couple of scenarios. I don't know whether, Castaways, which is scenario 1 in the base game, is the Open and Play campaign, or whether they've come up with new ones, but otherwise I really don't, unless I'm planning as a veteran to be teaching this to like my kids, which probably will happen at some point, why I would need that. But Let's continue on here. Or you can get the Endless Adventures Pledge. This basically is everything that they have for Robinson Crusoe minus the old base game. So you would get the Collector's Edition base game, Mystery Tales, and the treasure chest. So what this is telling me here is that more than likely you will probably not get all of the content that you would get in Mystery Tales or the treasure chest in the Book of Adventures or in the Collector's Edition base game. That you would still need all of this to complete your collection, which is a little disappointing, but I can kind of see why. Mystery Tales actually added like a small campaign to the game, and then horror mode, which I have not tried myself, but I do own the Mystery Tales expansion. And then treasure chest was supposed to be this like larger storage solution where they were giving you all of the kind of one-off scenarios that have been created through promos and things like that, and some really nice extras that just kind of enhanced your gameplay. But it seems like if you want the full experience, you would need to do this Endless Adventures pledge, and then they have a group pledge. Here, they are having stretch goals. They are not based on the amount that the campaign has raised. They're just going to be daily unlocks. So you can see that you've already unlocked a camp model, which I'm really not sure where this is going to fit in the game, but B, how big is this? Like, this looks like it's going to be huge. And something that I guess you just kind of paint up and is scenery off to the side. In the game, which you can see me play later on in this video, you only use camp as like it's a small token on the whatever island tile you're on. You don't actually even put your characters there or anything. It literally is just a small little cardboard token with a picture of a tent on it. So I'm really curious as to find out, hopefully through updates, as to what's up with the giant camp model, but it does look interesting. So here are a few add-ons if you just need a few certain things. For example, if you don't want the Book of Adventures, but you have Robinson Crusoe, you basically just want the big box, the miniatures, and I guess probably some of the stretch goals, you can probably just do the upgrade pack. They also have a neoprene mat, which is very interesting. The board is quite big, and it doesn't always lay flat when you get it out of the box for the first time. It eventually does. I don't have any problems with my board warping all the times I've played it, but I do love me some neoprene mats, but it is, again, just a neoprene mat version of the board. I don't think it changes the size or anything like that. Looks like they've got some wooden dice for to replace all of the dice. I don't know why they're calling them horror dice, unless this is from Mystery Tales. But this looks fun. Your painted resin tokens. Again, the wooden tokens in the base game are shaped. They're not just colored cubes, so they're not bad, but these might be a nice upgrade if you're really into the game. Then it's a whole bunch of card sleeves, which is pretty standard for Awakened Realms. And then this Spyglass set, which was a promo way back in the day, and you're actually supposed to break it in half. And it would gain you like an extra couple hearts, I think, or something like that. It was like in case of emergencies only, or you would automatically pass a challenge or something like that. I honestly don't understand why people continue to pay for these things just to break them. Anyways, so let's continue. Here is just some highlights on what comes in the collector's edition. So you can see here there are miniatures, standard 35 millimeter Awakened Realms miniatures. The detail on these look amazing. Awakened Realms' whole thing is miniatures. They have never disappointed in their miniatures. What I haven't seen yet, but Awakened Realms does do, is the whole sun drop thing on Awakened Realms games, which means the miniatures come with this kind of shading on them, so you don't really need to paint them, but it makes the details stand out and they look amazing. I don't know if they're going to be doing that for this game, but they are partnering with them here. This isn't just Portal Games using Gamefound, so Awakened Realms is in charge of the miniatures. Again, it's a large box with a storage insert. Ignacy swears that everything, even the stretch goals, is going to fit in the big box. So we'll see about that. Here is more of that open and play tutorial. So you can see here is the map tile, and it's just included in the game, in the book. So you don't actually need to get the map tiles out of the game. You can probably just flip through the book and not even get the other stuff out. They've also created a companion mobile app, which essentially has scenarios built into it, as well as many of the adventure cards and event cards, things like that, which could be really nice. I know some people are really against this, but just to improve setup time, if I can get the game to the table that much faster, and the replayability jumps through the roof that much more. And what's interesting is that they haven't said whether or not this app is going to be accessible, whether it's going to be you have to pay for it, is it going to be a free download. But if I don't back the campaign, which I will, but will anybody be able to download this app? So here's the game board, like you said, 7 scenarios. So again, the collector's edition isn't coming, at least at this point, with any additional scenarios from Mystery Tales or the treasure chest, but are those in the Book of Adventures? So anyways, here are the characters. A closer look at the characters. Again, they are giving you a male and female character, because your boards were always double-sided, but you always then got 2 action tokens to take for each character. So I always play with one side. I've stickered mine with the included stickers, and I've always played with one female side and one male side. And it doesn't matter which side of the player board you play with, they're exactly the same. But there are the cooks, there are the explorers, and there are the soldiers. And then we see the dog, which is a fan favorite of the solo players. But what we don't see is a Friday figure, which it's pretty obvious here that he's going to be one of the stretch goals. So, we don't see him there, but how could you not have a game? How could you have a miniatures figurine and not have a Friday figurine? But I'm sure it's coming. A whole bunch of cards. Here are the dice again. These look like what those wooden dice are replacing. I kind of like these dice. They roll really well. They're a good size. Here are your standard tokens, which, at least in the collector's edition, are not being upgraded. So far it seems like the only thing the collector's edition is doing is giving you a big box and some miniatures. All these markers are standard in the retail version of the game. All of these tokens are standard. What I don't recognize is this basket or sack token. So that's interesting. I've never seen these before. Maybe I just have never come across them. But so that's essentially what's in the collector's edition. Again, up to this point, all I'm seeing is that you get miniatures and a big box with good storage. So here's the Book of Adventures. This is what I am most excited about. This kind of lay flat, spiral-bound book, which has all of the scenarios in them. They are going to be organized by genre: adventure, historical, fantasy, sci-fi, difficulty, easy, medium, hardcore, length, short, long, painful, and target audience: kids-oriented, for everyone, and adult-oriented. So if I want to play a short game with my kids, I can find the one that's marked for kids-oriented, short, and easy, and they probably would pick sci-fi. But I just think that the level of organization they are putting into this book is just amazing. And for people who are big fans of the game, this should be what you're most excited about. So here's some more information about the Book of Adventures. And then they go into deeper information into what is included in these other expansions that are older and have been out for a long time. So again, I don't think this content is going to be anywhere else but the Mystery Tales expansion. So, these additional island tiles, the additional character boards, specifically like these tokens. These tokens need to be added to the game in order for these scenarios to work. You can't just put the scenario in the adventure book. So lots of additional stuff. So that's why I feel like if you really want the full experience, you need to buy that full pledge. And then here's the treasure chest. Again, the treasure chest was really just adding all the things that have been released as promos for the most part. So like the gamer, which is saying like a board gamer or a video gamer as a character, or the sailor character. All these additional scenarios that were released as promos, the cards and events that were released with those promos, and additional crewman cards, which you could replace Friday with, essentially. Some additional markers and tokens for your food, so you could actually get the parrot or the fish instead of just a banana. This is really nice, the Discovery Token bag. So when you draw those, again, more cardboard spyglasses, an upgraded volcano tile. And so that's what comes in. Again, that expansion has already been out. You can go buy the treasure chest, and you can go buy Mystery Tales right now at your local game store, certainly on Amazon, and you can buy the traditional, I think it's 2nd edition of Robinson Crusoe, the traditional base game. So this is just a preview of what's to come. We might check in with this campaign a little further down, maybe in 10 days or so when it's halfway through, to take a look at some of the stretch goals and to see if they've explained some things better. For example, what you use the giant camp miniature for. Where was that thing? It's around here somewhere. I just want to take a look at it again. There we go. The Robinson's camp model. Anyways, what I'm going to do next is actually play through one of the scenarios from the base game, because I realized I have never put Robinson Crusoe on video on this channel. So it is one of my favorite games. I am attempting to pick one of the shorter scenarios, so we'll see how it goes. But let's go ahead and move over to the table so you guys can see how Robinson Crusoe actually plays. Okay, so I have gone ahead and set up the scenario. This is scenario number 4, Volcano Island. It's one of the shorter scenarios, in hopes that this playthrough does not go on too long. But I am just going to go through now a very quick overview on how to set up the game and how to play the game. But since this is more of a Kickstarter preview video, I'm going to keep all that short. So, one of the things I really love about this game is the board, because it doesn't feel overbearing. It's very thematic looking. Feels like this is what your table would look like in your camp or shelter if you were Robinson Crusoe. But it gives you a lot of information. Specifically up here is the order in which each round needs to be conducted, the things that are going to happen. And you can see that, like, number 1 here with a 1 beneath it is to address one of these encounter cards. Number 2 is to address the morale track. And then number 3 is your resources. So you're going to collect resources. And then number 4, you're basically going to scan across the bottom here. So you're going to be, assigning and then completing your actions, which is the main mechanism of the game. And then lastly, you're going to deal with the weather, and then you're going to deal with the night phase, which is where pretty much everybody needs to eat, but then you can move your camps and other things like that. So what we have needed to do to set up the game is first to prepare the kind of encounter deck. The encounter deck is divided up into 2 types of cards, one with a kind of an open book symbol on it, and one with any one of these 3 colored symbols on it. And so you're going to take the number of rounds. In this case, it was 8 for Volcano Island, and so you're going to pick 4 of each. So you're going to pick 4 with the open book symbol, and and these are chosen randomly. You don't get to pick them. And then randomly, you will choose 4 that have the brown, gray, or green circle in them. You're going to then shuffle those up and create your encounter deck. So essentially there's going to be 1 pulled for every round, except we actually don't pull 1 on the very first round. We are gone ahead and given 1. These have a special color on the back of them. There's 3 provided in the base game. I'm not sure if there are others in some of the other expansions, but these are essentially called like your wreckage cards. In the opening scenario, they suggest you use food crates. These generally are ones that are not going to, it says nothing happens down here. They're not going to give you a negative consequence if you don't handle them, but they give you a bonus, an easy way to pick up supplies. So you could play without this one. You would still not draw an encounter in the first round, but you could play without a wreckage card. It makes things a little harder. But this game is hard enough as it is, so we're not going to bother with that. The morale track, all you need to do is place a marker. It doesn't matter what color. I use white there in the center in 0. And then once we start building roofs and palisades, I'll add markers up here. But you can go ahead and give yourself a marker on the one on the weapon track, and you can just put one close by that's going to show that we've built this shelter. That's coming very soon. You're then going to, based on your scenario card, set up your map area. So in this scenario, Volcano Island, we are essentially trying to explore, gather treasure on the island, and then eventually escape. And we need to progress this way, which is normally you start over here on the beach and kind of explore the island this way. So this one's a little different than some of the others. You're actually already deep into the island and you're trying to explore it, get to the beach, and get off before the volcano erupts. So the instructions for setting these 2 tiles up specifically came from my scenario specific sheet here. The next thing you're going to want to do is set up your items and inventions, I guess you could say, when they're flipped to this side where it's like the brown at the top and then a name and then underneath. That's the invention side. That means it's just an idea. You don't have that yet. But you can see that in this particular scenario, I did get to start with the shovel and the knife. So these have been flipped over. These are things I actually have. So it's important to note that when you are attempting to build an invention, you need to not only have discovered a particular type of land. So, forget, this is like the plains and the grasslands and the river here. You can see that we have discovered the river right off the bat. So I could, if I wanted to, discover the map right now. Is there anything else that only requires the river? Oh, and the dam. Okay, so I have what I need to create the map and the dam. Now, I still need to build them. I still need to create the map. So I still need we'll still need to assign workers there during the stage 4, and we'll talk about that more in a minute. But at least I have everything I need. The dam, I essentially have everything I need, but I'll also have to assign 1 wood. Right now, I don't have any wood. But in doing so, I will get 2 non-perishable food, which will be nice. As I explore more, you'll see me covering up these tokens to just remind myself that those items can be built. There are starting inventions, which you can see are noted by the triangles pointing to the word. Those are always going to start out on your board, and then you're going to generally randomly choose 5 additional ones and set them out. So that's these 5 right here that I just randomly drew and added. You're also, for the sake of space, normally you would not put these on the board because you can add additional inventions, but for the sake of space, I have put 2 starting inventions. So every scenario, you're always going to get 2 inventions to start with, but they're limited in their use. So you can see I get biscuits and pistols. These were again a pistol was randomly chosen. And if at any point I needed perishable food to feed myself, I can remove a token here. Once these 2 tokens are gone, these items are useless. The pistol is going to give me a temporary +3 to my weapon. So if I come across an animal, I need an additional +3. I can pull out my pistol and shoot it. So you can see that many of these future inventions require you, for example, I cannot build the spear until I have built the knife. But now that I have the knife, really the only thing that the knife gives me, actually, the knife was supposed to give me +1 to my weapon. So I should be right there. Did the shovel give me anything? No, the shovel just gave me the shovel. Or for example, I cannot build the pit until I have built the shovel, but then I can obviously dig out the pit, and then I need some wood to put stakes in the bottom. I cannot build the snare until I have built the rope. To build the rope, I only need to find the grasslands. So this, if it doesn't make sense now, it makes perfect sense as you're going about the game. The last thing is that each of your people has a unique thing, and I don't think you can quite see it, but here you go. Here is a shortcut on the side. This is a character-specific invention that they are familiar with. So for the Explorer, I was able to pull out the shortcut, this little token I will have access to once I have created the shortcut. But in order to invent a shortcut, I have to have the map first. So again, you're pulling out your starting items. Those are going to be the same 9. They're going to pull out 5 more additional items, plus items that are specific to your character, and then 2 random starting items that are going to get these 2 tokens. Your scenario may tell you things like, oh, you already have the knife and the shovel, or make sure you pull out a specific item. Again, always checking the scenario setup portions of the scenario sheet when you're setting up the game. So down here, this is basically dividing the cards up into their like colors, shuffling them up, putting the die out. This is another thing that I really love about the game. These dice are all the same, but they give you 9 dice instead of, they could have just given you 3 and made you re-roll the same dice. But these are going to be kind of encounters that happen when you take these specific actions. So we'll talk more about that as we play the game. This little marker here was added as a result of the Volcano Island scenario. So anytime we want to explore, we're actually at a disadvantage. Normally you can just send 1 worker to test your luck at something. You're going to have to roll these dice and you could fail. If you send 2, you automatically succeed. Well, with this token that is there permanently for the game, we're actually going to have to send 2 people or 2 workers, 2 pawns to every location just to take a chance. 3 if we want to permanently succeed. But again, the goal of the scenario is to kind of explore out and around past the volcano and get to the beach where we build the jolly boat and can then be on our way. So they made it harder to do the primary action necessary to complete the game. The last few things you're going to want to do is just set your weather dice off to the side here. We're actually not going to need these for a while. You can see that the first 3 rounds there's no weather, but then after the 4th, 5th, and so on round, we're going to be rolling this orange one. I keep these other 2 out here just in case. Occasionally an encounter card will tell you that you have to deal with, like, a hunting animal that's hunting you down, or a blizzard randomly flies in, and you'll have to roll these other dice. So you'll want to shuffle up your other exploration tiles and place a pile of them face down. These are going to create your larger map. You have got your mystery cards here shuffled up and in a stack. You're going to want these 3 tokens, which will be placed onto these decks, essentially telling you that even if you send, say I have that there, that's just telling me that even if I send 2 workers to do a build action and I automatically succeed and I don't have to roll these dice, or if I rolled the dice and did not hit on the question mark, which is a good thing, I still need to resolve a brown encounter. And you're going to get these from these cards up here. You're also going to have a stack of animals to hunt. Right now you keep the stack off the board because what you place here is if you kind of discover that an animal's nearby. If you find traces of an animal, then you're going to move the top card onto this stack, and then you can go hunting. Until you see traces of an animal, you have nothing to hunt. So you don't just put your stack on the board, you move individual cards up onto the board, and then you can hunt. And again, you will discover these based on, encounter cards. For your actual player boards, you're going to want to either randomly choose one or pick the one you want. In this situation, again, this game is hard enough as it is. I picked the Explorer because we're going to be doing a lot of Explore actions. You need to give them a red cube to track their health. And in my instance, since I am playing true solo, which means I am playing with a single character here, I also get the allies Friday and the dog. So I've pulled out my 2 Explorer tokens, the Friday token, the dog token. I gave Friday a health card because he can perish. The dog cannot die. And I put a round tracker up here. That is pretty much the setup. It does seem like a lot, but if you have your game well organized, it all comes out pretty quickly. Okay, so how do you play Robinson Crusoe? Well, admittedly, right off the bat, this is Not an easy game to learn. The instruction manual is pretty thick, pretty heavy. I don't even know how many pages, 40 some odd pages. There's a lot of text in here. It's a lot to get through. This is not a game for the faint of heart, but it is an excellent, excellent game. So please do not take this video as a, specifically how to play video that you should watch, and then you'll know exactly how to play the game. This is just going to give you an idea that if you're unfamiliar with Robinson Crusoe, you can follow along with me to decide whether this game is worth backing currently on Gamefound. So, the first thing you're going to do every round, except for the first one, is draw an encounter card. You're going to read the top of the encounter card. Some stuff may happen. It may tell you to add some things to these piles. But then you're going to place it down here. If there's already one here on the right side, you're going to push this one, whichever one's there, to the right. If there's already, to the left. If there's already one to the left, it gets pushed off the board, and something may happen. In this instance, nothing happens. But whatever text is in this bottom portion of the card is going to happen. And usually if it's not nothing happens, it's something bad. To get this card off the board so it doesn't push off and have negative consequences, you're going to need to assign a worker here during, the assignment phase. So in this instance, we could assign a single pawn to gain 1 wood. Or we could assign 2 pawns to gain a wood and an additional starting resource, which is kind of nice. Remember, we only started with 2. This is going to give us a 3rd one. Again, if we do this, and you're always successful as long as you send the necessary resources, because sometimes it would say, oh, there's a hole in your roof. Send a worker and a wood. And if you do so, you just get to remove the card, or maybe you get to increase your roof level or something. What could be on the bottom is, oh, you let the hole fester, the rain came in, and now you have pneumonia or something. But either way, we're going to draw this card. We're going to push things down, address bad things are going to happen, and address what's at the top of the card. Second thing we're going to do, remember we're following this chart along the side here and kind of just following the flow of the board. So up here and then down here. All right, so the next thing you're going to do is look at your morale track, and if this token is, say, right here on this space, you're going to gain 2 morale tokens, which look like this. And normally those are player specific, but for me, I'm the only player. But these can be spent to activate your special abilities on your player board. So I'll talk about those when I actually make use of them, but know that your morale can go up and down based on certain game effects. If you get hurt, for example, if you take an amount of damage that pushes you past into this heart level, you're going to lose morale because you're pretty wounded. So here, in this case, you could start actually taking negative, losing morale tokens and not being able to spend them. In a solo game specifically, you actually get to move this up at the beginning of every round, even if it, if you keep pushing up to the top space there, simply because they say you're happy to be alive. So I'll just leave that up there. The next thing you're going to do is collect resources. So in this instance, you will look at where your current camp tile is. For us, it's just the X because we have not built our shelter yet. So we just look to see where we are located on the map. And in this instance, we can collect a wood and a food. Now, there are 2 different types of food tokens in the game. There is the banana. This is the wood. There's the banana and the bread. The banana is perishable. But anytime you see a fish or a bird, you get the perishable type. But you can see if we build the dam, we get 2 non-perishable foods, because during the night phase your perishable goods go bad, and so any food that you do not consume during the night phase and that is perishable gets lost. But either way, step 3 is always to look where your camp is and collect the resources on your camp. All right, then the next phase is we need to assign our workers. So you can see that our individual people here, the explorer that we are, has 2 pawns to assign. Friday can be assigned to anything by himself, but the dog is considered, even though he's this bright pink, he's considered either needing to do an explorer action or a hunt action. But he makes it so that, you know, you can be successful in that manner. So what we're going to do here at the start of the game is to go ahead and assign the dog and one of our explorers, or our explorer. Essentially think of it as like our explorer can take 2 actions every round. That's why they have two pawn tokens. So our explorer is going to spend some time going exploring with dog. Now, since this is here, we will have to roll our dice and suffer the consequences. You know, I'm going to go ahead and take my 1 morale token, since we're kind of going through the steps and actually playing them out here. So in this instance, I have assigned an explorer along with the dog, which is a green action and can be assigned at a green action to explore. If I'm successful, I'm going to reveal a new map tile, possibly be able to move my camp token, and that's the name of this scenario, is doing more exploring. Then what else am I going to do? I definitely want to be able to build the map so that I can build the shortcut. I also need to build my shelter, which, to build the shelter, you're either going to need 2 wood or 1 pelt. Well, I don't have any animals to hunt right now, so I need to obviously obtain more wood. I know where some wood is, so I'm just going to send Friday by himself over here. That's going to get me the 1 wood I need. All right. And then the last thing I'm going to do is assign my explorer to invent the map. So again, you don't need to roll dice over here, but I'm going to have to roll dice for these 2 guys because of this -1 token. I'm going to have to roll dice. She could fail at building or designing the map. The only other 2 actions that you could take in this phase would be to gather resources, which you cannot gather resources from your campsite. You've already gathered the wood and the fish available there. So until I have other places, I can't gather. But essentially what you would do is, say this is not where say our campsite was there, you would just send 1 or 2 workers onto this, and you would say, you would put them over top of whatever resource you're collecting. So if you wanted to collect wood, you would go there. If you wanted to collect fish, you would go there. Or the hunt action, you have to send 2 pawns for. Remember, your dog can be one of those, though. You put them right here, and when the time comes, you're going to flip over the top animal card and resolve it. We'll talk about that when the time comes. But essentially, you're checking your weapon level against their weapon level, and then you're gaining the benefits of going on the hunt and reducing your weapon level, taking damage if necessary. All right. So, I have essentially chosen my actions. Now, you'll see me do this eventually, when I want to build, say, the shelter, so that I don't have to take a wound every night for sleeping out in the open, I would assign my worker here, but I would also send the necessary resources that I would need. But in this instance, I don't have enough wood to build the shelter yet, so, oops. I was supposed to come here to build the map. All right. So now that we have assigned out our workers, then we're going to go through all these steps from left to right, just like you're reading a book. So in this instance, I have Friday, who again, just being there, he was successful. So he is going to obtain a wood. Okay? And then I can move his pawn back. All right. Then we keep moving on. The build phase, which is where anything here in this area is usually going to be built. So remember, I only sent 1 worker. So instead of automatically being successful, I have to roll these like chance dice. So let's give them a roll and see what they say. All right, so this is actually the best roll you can get. It may seem weird, but this, I don't know what this symbol is. I'm pretty sure it's a Greek letter. The alpha, omega. Anyways, this symbol means you are successful. You could have rolled this symbol, which means you are unsuccessful, but you gain 2 morale tokens for giving it a good try, which can be used usually to re-roll dice in the end, or on another turn. But in this instance, we were successful. What these two mean is that A, we're not taking a wound. If we had rolled this, we would have, say, cut our finger on the knife while slicing the paper. But we did not, so we don't take a wound. This one, we would have had to resolve an encounter that we came across while building or designing the map, but we didn't. So again, this is actually the perfect roll. All 3 of these sets of dice are exactly the same. They each have 3 unique dice to them where there's success or failure, encounter or not, and wound or not. So no matter what you do, this is why sometimes it's worth it just to send 2 workers. A, you don't want to fail. B, you don't want to take a wound. C, you don't want to have to deal with a card. But then you're spreading yourself. You can't spread yourself out. But either way, we were successful, so we can bring our person back. We can remove this token and flip this over. Now, what this is telling us is at the beginning of every round now, I actually am going to gain an additional pawn, and kind of exploration pawn. You could think of this as an extra worker because it has a little worker symbol on it, but think of it as it's the map. The green pawn, however, can only be used for exploration actions, which makes sense, but you've designed a map, so you just made exploring the island easier for you. So I'm going to also put this over here on my board. If a symbol like this is on what you have invented, you get it every round. It's yours. However, if we did not get these 2 symbols during setup, according to the sheet, but normally when we see this round coin-looking symbol here, that's going to be just, I forget what they're called, adventure tokens, something like that. Sometimes they will give you an extra worker that's temporary. You just get it, you use it once, and after you've used it once, you discard it. So, but this was the whole point of me doing the map first, was to get this guy to use on future actions. Last but not least, so we started here. I can actually discard this now because I completed it, so leaving me space. 2 rounds is going to happen before anything else happens. There's nothing to hunt. I did my build action. I'm not doing any gather actions. Now I'm going to explore. So again, I got to pick up these 3 dice because of this. And we roll these out. All right. And now this is good, but also you're going to see that a whole bunch of other stuff happens. So we went exploring and we took some damage. That's fine. But we also, because of this question mark, need to address this top card here. So this says Old Grave. You come across an old grave. You reluctantly look inside, but immediately regret it after seeing the old corpse. Discard 1. Unfortunately, we only had 1. And shuffle into the event deck. So what's really cool about these cards is they don't all do this, but now essentially we are adding to the encounter deck, or the event. I've been calling it the encounter deck, but they call it the event deck. So if this comes back up, we're going to read this bottom portion because you see this flag here. So when it comes back up, whoever the first player is, which is always going to be us, is going to discard 2 more and draw another card because we are remembering the dead castaway. So we went there, we explored, we came across a grave, we checked it out when we shouldn't have. It grossed us out, and then however many days from now, we're going to have a nightmare about that dead castaway, and we're going to lose even more morale. So this is one of the great mechanisms of this game, is how these encounter cards get shuffled in. Now, I will say that obviously the backs of the cards do not match. So you gotta kind of just shuffle with your eyes closed and stack them back up there. But it also means that right now this is the only thing in there, and see that on top, I kind of know what I'm going to be dealing with next round. So maybe I use up all my morale tokens or something like that. Okay. But I took my wound. I dealt with this. Either way, we were successful, so I can bring these tokens back. I will now take the top tile here, and I'll flip it over. So now, some things happen. One is that we have discovered a mountainous region. So let's look and see, does anybody need mountains? Yes, we need the mountains to create fire, and that's actually it. So I covered up the fire. That means I know I can create fire or my dam. I also could drop that there to create a shortcut. But anyways, also, this is an idle location that I can explore, which you can see to complete the scenario. I don't know if you can read this way over here, but at a 2-player count, which is what I'm considered right now, I have to explore 3 of those locations. And remember, I had to ignore this one. So that's the first one we're going to explore, and it tells me on the scenario what's going to happen if I explore that one. So the other thing is one of those coin symbols. So I get to take the top one of these. All right, so we got us a goat. There can be found goats on the island. And anytime you come across tokens like these, or you come across, like wood, for example, that I gained from this card, need to go up here in the future resources area. So not to be confused with resources that you might use immediately. Food that you're going to eat immediately, or wood that you can use to build things. During the night phase, this stuff is going to push down. So then for the next round, I will have that wood. I also have a goat, which is nice because the goat is actually going to sit here until I kill it, essentially, which is what the skull and crossbones symbol is at the top, because when I use a weapon on it, I then get a pelt and a food out of him. But the goat does not perish like other food, so he can actually kind of hang out until I come across desperate situations. But again, anything gained while you're out exploring, building, gathering goes up here into future resources, because you have to think, yes, we completed things in a linear order, but in real life, everybody would have scattered to gather these things and are now bringing them back. So you couldn't have, like I said before, I couldn't have collected the wood here and then instantly used it to build the shelter, because essentially I was discovering the map at the same time he was gathering the wood from the captain's chest. So at this point, we have now successfully completed all of our activities for the first round. So the last thing we have to do is address weather. We actually don't have any weather to deal with because the first 3 rounds is a gimme, and we didn't come across any weather in any of our encounter cards. All right, so we can just skip this. And now the night phase. During the night phase, you can do, you have to do one thing, and that's feed your people. So for each player in the game, not including Friday, you can see Friday does not have to have a shelter. He does not have to have food. Weather does not affect this guy. He's, the island native. He just lives here. Neither does the dog. The dog doesn't need food. It hunts on its own. But the explorer does need food. Luckily, I have 1 food from my campsite that was going to perish anyways, so I might as well eat it. You're going to pull this stuff down, which is a bonus for you. But the other thing that you can do, which is optional, is you can move your campsite. Now, when you're exploring, you can explore any location adjacent to your campsite. So I could stay here and be able to explore this location for free. Or I could explore this location here, but I need to send an extra worker for every space past my campsite that I go, or that's not adjacent. So remember, this token is making me send 2 people no matter what. If I wanted to explore right here, I'm having to send 3 people now, no matter what. 4 people to be completely successful. But something else to consider is wherever your campsite is where you gather resources at the beginning of the game. These match. The bird and the fish are the same thing. So I'm actually going to stay put because I need to be able to explore 6 regions. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Essentially all but 2. So I don't want to have to go around the volcano and then back again, because starting in round 4, the lava is going to start seeping out of the volcano and killing these portions of the island. So that's what this section of the scenario sheet is telling me, that starting in round 4, I'm actually going to flip this tile over. Then in round 5, these 2, 6, 7, and 8. So really, the only safe tile is going to be this one. If it takes me till round 8, I better be on this tile, is what it's telling me. So I don't want to have to go all the way back around here. I mean, I guess I could skip it and just stay over here, but since these 2 are pretty much giving me the same resources, both of which I need right now, I'm just going to stay put and explore this direction next. Okay, so that's just kind of giving you my thought process of why I did not move camp. But during the night phase, you can move camp, and we're going to have to start moving, within the next 2 rounds, or else we instantly lose if our campsite is on a tile that gets lava on it. So, all right. I believe I pretty much covered everything you might need to know in order to play the game. And I'm going to continue playing the game here, but just a few things that we might come across that I'll just go ahead and cover now. Scenario-specific stuff. So, if we come across an encounter card that has the book symbol on it, we're going to have to look to this area of the scenario sheet. When we go exploring these little tiki idol symbols, we will look at this specific area of the scenario sheet. This is telling us special rules, which is where we knew to put this out. These are going to be tokens that we might gain from, like, the goat here, and they mean something specific to every scenario. So you can see how they've built in a way for the game to change from scenario to scenario based on these kind of anonymous symbols, which you look to the scenario card for. Also, last thing on the scenario card here is 2 items that are specific to the scenario. So once we build our rope, I can then build a rope ladder, which is going to give me a second explorer guy that I can only use when exploring the tiki idols. But again, I have to explore 3 of those tiki idols and 6 map tiles before the end of round 8 in order to win the game. So that might be where we head next. Build the rope. I also want to be able to build the shelter, because in the night phase, I almost forgot about this, I don't have a shelter. So my campsite is just open to the weather, to the animals, to mosquitoes, who knows. Either way, I have to take a general hit for sleeping outside, essentially, until I build the shelter, which means I need 2 wood or 1 pelt. Obviously, I'm going to be doing that this next round. So, yeah, let's go ahead and move into round 2. So let's move this down to round 2. And again, we will start over here. This time, however, we will actually draw an event card and take a look at it. So it says, what you feared most has just happened. Put a... Oh no, this is not the die. That's going to happen. Okay, so I need to find that weather symbol, which is in here somewhere. But I also will have to take this, so it's going to make gathering more difficult, essentially, is what that is saying. And then somewhere around here, I put a definitive, you will deal with a snowstorm effect coming up here in the at the end of the next phase, which I can't find my token at the moment. Oh, there it is. There's a lot of just like single tokens in the game. It's easy to lose track of them. So what this is telling us is that I can send someone along with some wood or a pelt to discard this card and get to morale in the process by warming up the camp. If I don't, not only do I have to deal with the frost that came in this round, but I have to deal with one in 2 rounds again. So there's really no way for me to get rid of this round. I'm just going to have to deal with it. Gathering is going to be more difficult in the future here, but if I don't want to deal with it again, then I need to address this situation. All right, next thing is we need to boost up our morale. Again, we get this just because we're playing solo. So it's one of the ways they effectively help you out in a solo game. Then we're going to collect resources at our location, which is, again, another food or another wood and a food. So there's our food we need. We don't need to gather any food this turn, and we have the wood necessary to address this card. It just depends on, do we want to wait until next round and still be able to address it, or do we address it now? Either way, we definitely need to build a shelter. So we are at the point now where we need to decide how we're going to put out our people here. So this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking Friday, we're going to wait on this, and I want Friday to create the rope. I want one of my explorers to create the shortcut, okay? And I am going to send, now, hold on, put one on the explore action. It says there until the end of the game, meaning that you have to use, okay, yes. So I am going to send 2 here. No, hold on. Let's, I guess, yeah. So I'm going to lose the dog. Lose use of the dog. So I'm exploring the idol. So it'll be this small temple that I'm exploring, and I'm going to gain access to the shortcut, but I need the shelter. So I guess, no, in fact, you're going to go up here to the shelter. Actually, I don't need the shortcut yet. I'm not low on resources. So the question is, do I try and build the rope? Yes, I think I do. That way I can get the rope ladder soon and get an extra worker to start being super successful in all of these actions. Okay, so I have placed my workers out, which is the beginning of step 4. And now we need to go through all of this. So I don't have anybody here, nobody here. Building. Now, at this point, I can build people in whatever order I so choose. So let's see here. Yeah, I guess we'll do Friday first. So hopefully we can be successful here. All right, we were successful. Now, Friday does not actually have to deal with these cards. He unfortunately is going to take 2 hits, one from this die, and the other one you can see on his card here, a question mark equals an extra point of damage. And you can lose Friday to damage. So that's why I like to send him over here to these, because he just kind of takes care of those and then doesn't take any damage. So I can also heal him up if I come across anything that's going to heal people, or I could send Friday over here to the rest action, but for right now he's okay. But either way, we were successful, so I can bring Friday back. I can put this over here and I can flip this over. So now from now on we are safe at night from the effects of other dangers. All right, this is gonna hurt. I'm gonna have to discard my additional wood. I think it's just an additional wood. I'll have to double check on that, but I have extra wood, so I'm okay. Basically, you're like having to burn the wood. Okay. Oh, and I had to spend 2 wood to do that action. I should have put that with Friday the whole time to make sure I didn't overspend. All right, you know what? I can't build the rope. I'm sitting here wanting to build the rope, but I can't. So we will actually, I'm going to change my mind, and I'm going to explore. Again, that's why we have these tokens here. to help remind you that you can or cannot build something. So let's put this back over here just to remind us that at some point we can build the shortcut. Okay. Alrighty. So let's just go ahead and take care of this now. So again, since this, we need to roll our dice here. And again, we got the full complement of stuff. So we'll take another hit. And we were successful, so we'll deal with that in a second. But here we go. Puma! You got a puma in the bushes. If you go back to the camp now, you will bring death with you. Decide, discard this card and execute the night phase outside the camp or shuffle into the event deck. If we do, at some point, the puma's going to come out. Now let's take a look at this. The puma's got a level 3. We're at a level 2 weapon. It would ruin a little bit of our palisade, but I would rather I just spent all that time working on getting my shelter up, so we're gonna shuffle this into the event deck. Again, I just put that in there, and then I shuffle like this, and with my eyes closed, and there we go. All right. Okay, so I didn't want to deal with the puma right now. We'll just run away and let it figure out where we live, and that's fine. All right, so we were successful exploring, so I can flip this over now. Ooh, look at that. Still don't have the grasslands I need to build my rope, but I can build my pot now. I can build my bricks now. I can build my lantern now, but not without fire, so I'm not going to bother covering that up. Okay. All right, but I get 2 of these tokens now. So I'm going to get, large leaves. I'll need to check and see if large leaves can help with this or not. And candles. So you can see here what candles is giving me is an additional worker pawn that I will just have off. I can save it until I need to spend an additional worker on a build action. But here's my additional worker pawn, and he'll just kind of go under here and be saved. And so this I have to look real quick. Let me look and see. Actually, we'll look at the end of the round to see what that gains us. I guess we push it up there. And technically this guy goes up there too. He's not available yet, but that makes sense because we already assigned our workers. All right, the last guy's up here. Actually, we need to look at this card to see what exploration happens at that idol. So take an exploration action to draw 3 mystery cards. Resolve all types. Special rule, you must draw and resolve all 3 cards. So we have some other things that, if we had drawn some of those other tokens, that would have helped with this, but we don't have any of those. So we need to deal with what's here. Again, you could come across a trap, you could come across like a monster, or you could come across a treasure. So maybe we'll get lucky. What do we got here? An old map. Okay, each player gets 1 morale token. Okay, that's fine. You can live with that. What else do we got here? A hammock. Okay, rest in peace. Keep this card. Starting next round, whenever a player rests, okay, they get 1 morale token in addition to the usual boost in health. Cannot be combined with the bed. Okay. So we don't have the bed. That's not to worry about. So I'm just going to kind of put this maybe down here. So if we want to rest, we remember that we have the hammock. Come on, can we get 3 treasures in a row in this spot? Ooh, the blunt spear. Okay. Nope. Old and covered in spiderwebs, a spear hits you in the chest. What? Oh, it's a blunt spear. Okay, so I have to take 2 damage from the blunt spear. Unfortunately, I can't get around that. There's nothing else to do. Okay, so that 2 out of 3 wasn't bad. Okay, but we were successful, so we can bring our people back. And what I'm going to do now is place a number on that spot so we know that we've already explored this area, and that'll help us keep track of our 3 down the road. Okay. All right, and we had to resolve all the types, so we are good to go there. All right. So again, now let me look and see whether this can help us get through this. Okay, so I figured it out, but while we're here, I do want to show out that yes, this rule book is pretty beefy, but there is a very nice appendix at the back, one of which gives you a rundown of what each of the discovery tokens does, but they also have a very nice breakdown of what each of the characters does and their special actions, and a breakdown of what each of how the scenarios work. So you can see that I read all this up before we started playing. Volcano Island starts right here, and there's a whole nother, half a page over here that goes in detail more than what's just located here. So it is a tough rule book to get through, but it is got a lot of information, which can be a good thing sometimes. Okay, so the short answer is yes and no. This, because it's frost, but it's also wet, means that we have to deal with the cold first, and we have to discard a wood to burn it. Secondly, we have to deal with the fact that it's wet and it's similar to rain at this point. So this is considered not only frost and cold, but wetness. This, however, can cancel out the wetness. So this can cancel out the wetness, but not the cold. So I'll go ahead and use it now because I'm hoping to get rid of this in the future, and hopefully we won't see that again. Otherwise, we would have had to take a damage, which would have dropped our morale, so on and so forth. So, needless to say, we have dealt with the weather. Normally we would roll dice and deal with whatever token is right there. We only had a token, so we don't roll any dice. And now we move here. Night phase, we finally are in a shelter, so we're not going to take damage. We do have to eat something, okay? And this is now available, so we can just leave it up there. I'm going to leave it up there. That way that'll help me remember that it's just kind of a one-time use thing. Okay. Let's push on to round 3 now. So at this point, we will draw another card here, and we have to deal with Flying Surprise. In the middle of the night, a huge piece of wood hits the camp. Okay, so now something bad's going to happen when we build, and either -1 roof or -1 palisades. Actually, we don't have that. So this is interesting because I could let this sit, but it's going to take 2 more rounds. So, but it's just something I know I have to deal with. Anyways, you can see I push this down, so I have 1 more turn to be able to address this card this turn, to be able to address the card on the left, and then 2 more turns to address this one before, again, I would have to kick down these 2 tracks. I don't have anything right now, but I'm going to have to deal with the rain die coming up here in the next round, so I have to build up my roof level. So maybe I'll just have to work on building it up twice. All right. So we dealt with our event. Let's deal with our morale phase. Again, we get to move this up, so I get 2 more tokens, and I get to heal 1, which is really nice. Now, what I'm going to do at this point is use one of my special abilities on my card here. I can discard 2 of these to reroll any green die. I can discard 2, and this is what I'm going to do, to draw 3 island tiles from the stack, look at them, choose 1, and shuffle the other 2 into the stack and place the chosen one on top. I could also discard 3 to increase my morale. I don't need to do that. Or discard 3 to draw 2 discovery tokens, keep 1, discard the other. Anyways, this action of discarding 2, which I'm going to take now, is really helpful to take a look at the top 3 tiles because I'm looking for grasslands so I can get my rope made, so I can get my extra worker out here and start doing some more stuff. So let's take a look at these, and unfortunately none of them are grasslands. So what is the most beneficial to us? This one would have given us a temporary shelter, which would have been nice if it had come up early, but it didn't. This one gives us an idol that we have to explore, but right now we've got 2. So I'm actually going to put this one to be the next one we explore. What this is going to give us is it's going to put an animal out for us. Oh, you know what? We needed to move camp. I'll discuss this in a second. This is going to put an animal out for us to hunt, but it's also going to be a fish every time So yeah. Okay, so we're going to shuffle these back in. We're going to keep this one, so we know that's going to be our next one on top, which is, it's not the type of land I want, but all right. So we know what's coming up. I wanted to move camp before we did this, so I'm actually going to move camp to this location and just kind of keep exploring this way. So I meant to do that during the night phase here, and I failed, but it doesn't really matter at this point. Okay. All right, so we need to... Oh, no, I don't want to do that. I completely missed that this one has a lion card on it, so I should have taken... I apologize. Should have taken this, and this gives me something I can hunt. Now, I don't need to have my camp in this space. It just means that, you know, I'm going hunting because I have discovered animal tracks or something like that. So, all right, so I wanted to come up here so I could get the better resources. Not have to eat my goat quite yet, but it might be coming here. Okay. So I need to start increasing my roof level. All right. Okay. So we did our event. We did our morale phase. We gathered resources. And now we need to choose our actions again. So, let's see here. What I can do actually is go ahead and complete my shortcut phase, which... Is there anything else I want to do? I could build the spear now. If I built the fire, then I would not have to worry about this. Right, because your palisade can help with that, I believe. Your palisade keeps you warm, right? Roof or palisade. The roof and palisade level can be increased any number of times, while the palisade protects you from severe storms and some other effects. Okay. Both can be built when a shelter or natural construction is present. If an effect causes the roof or palisade level to increase, but there's no shelter, it is ignored. Okay. Does the winter dye help with palisades? I mean... if palisades level must be decreased, decrease the palisade level. No, hungry animals die. No. Okay. So no, I don't think that's worth it to go after the fire, because I don't really need to build that much stuff. Okay. So, what did we want to do again? I wanted to go ahead and use this guy to build my shortcut. I am going to use this guy to explore, and I'm going to send Friday to build the roof. Do I send Friday to go hunting? Or do I send him to deal with this? Yeah, maybe we send him to deal with that. Alright, so I'm going to send him with this and with a wood. Yep. Okay. And then we'll put up a roof next time. Alright. Let's see here. So, going through from left to right, you are successful, sir. You had to give up the wood. We get to discard this, gain our 2 morale tokens back. So we could do that whole fancy thing again. All right. The pot would be good to build too. Help heal me back up again, but I'm healing once per round anyways. All right, so now let's see, we go here, and normally we were permanently successful, so, and we will be successful. So I get to gain this shortcut, which I get to put out during the night phase. So for right now, I'm just going to put it with my camp. This comes off. We built our shortcut. There we go. That was successful. I also get 2 morale for building my personal item. All right, so there we go. This I'm done with now. I used it once. Okay, but since this is here, because I took the build action, I have to address this card. All right, monkey see, monkey do. You can chase the monkey away, but they will come back. Shuffle into the event deck. Okay, so that's it. I chase the monkey away, but they will come back. So again, I'm gonna close my eyes again and just give this whole thing a shuffle. Okay, well, we know we're dealing with that again. They're coming right back, literally. All right, so let's see here now. So we dealt with that. We did our shortcut. Let us now explore. So I'm going to have to roll 3 dice here. All right. And we are dealing with taking another hit. I've got a lot of stuff here, so I'm going to spend 2 to re-roll this die. Okay, and not take a hit. Good. I will have to address this. Lost in the woods. You went so far that you got lost and got frightened. Discard 2. That's not the end of the world. So these don't always get mixed in to the event deck, but they do sometimes. All right. Either way, we were successful, so we know what's coming. We get to put this out there. These guys come back, and we get 3 of these tokens now. So let's see what we got here. All right. Nourishing larva. Interesting. 2 food. Okay. A treasure. And herbs, which we can use the pot. If we have the pot, we can use up our herbs to increase morale, is what that means. Our treasure, however, I believe we just draw these mystery cards until we get a treasure. First player draws a treasure card from this deck. If this token is traded in during the action phase, the treasure is placed in the future resource space. Outside of the action phase, it is... First player draws a treasure card from the mystery deck. If this token is traded in during the action phase, the treasure is placed in the future resource space. Okay. So, I guess, yes, we just... Alright, Protective Amulet. Keep this card. You can use it once to remove any token or marker from an island, tile, or space. Okay. So, that goes up there, because I can't use it yet. Okay. But, essentially, I am done. So, we've already covered rivers. I don't need to cover up any rivers. I don't have any weather to deal with, because I addressed the weather. I do need to eat, so I'm going to eat now. And then things are going to come down. So I now get the Protective Amulet, which I can just save somewhere here. I have herbs, which I'll save, and I believe these become 2 food now, which isn't good, because I'm only going to use up 1 of them, so... I believe that's how it works, because you have to kill the goat to get that food, but this you just gain. So, but it won't go away until the end of next round. Okay, so that comes down. I ate my food. I want to move my camp, so I'm going to move my camp, but I'm going to put my shortcut token back here so I can still gain wood and food. I don't even need the food, though. So, let's see here. I could build a pot, but it seems just like a waste of a person. Okay. All right. So, let's see here. Now, we're pushing here, so now we have to start dealing with the orange weather die. And I need to start exploring more. And this is the 4th round, so this tile, ba-boop, goes away. All right. So the lava has started. And you know what? I'm going to lose this unless I spend 1, 2, 3, 4 people to explore it. Man, time caught up with me fast. All right. Lose half the Palisades thing, which is fine because I actually don't have any levels. So it's actually kind of good that that card just went ahead and came out. And draw another card, which is the exploration one. All right, first player discards 2, draw another card. So here we are. This is the memories of the castaway. We're having to deal with all these events that we shuffled back in, which is not necessarily a good thing. Okay. All right, so here is the book. So we need to put Ash, which we're going to represent with these white tokens, on any 2 spaces on the board. I get to choose as long as it doesn't already have Ash. I can put them on spaces that have been flipped. I could put them on spaces that haven't been discovered yet. I cannot put them on the volcano. If possible, put a white token on 2 different island spaces tiles, 1 disc per space tile, never on the volcano. The Ash essentially counts as one of these markers in that space. So, all right, so we dealt with that, and then this is put a, you get an additional damage next to the hunting deck. All right. I have to remember what that means. Greater danger token. What does the greater danger token mean? I'm not really hunting a lot, so maybe I don't need to worry about it. I don't even see where that's explained in the deck. Okay, so otherwise, if I don't go hunt this creature, then I have to put another one next to the deck. This can get me food, but I don't need food right now. All right. Okay, so what do we want to do now? Well, this doesn't push up anymore, so we gain 2 back plus a health. Boop. And I need to collect my resources, so I'm collecting 1 perishable food, and my shortcut allows me to choose, so I'm obviously going to collect wood from there, so I've got lots of food that's just going to go to waste, really. All right, so not only now would I have to spend 1, 2, 3 extra workers, or 2 extra workers to skip these spaces, 3 to then come here, 4 because of this, 5 just to explore that 1 totem. I don't think it's worth it. So we're just going to continue on exploring around the corner here. So let's see here. So I need to take an explore action, obviously. Yeah, 5s and then 6s. Ugh. Okay. What else do we need to do? Friday needs to build some stuff for us. So he's going to come up here. He's going to take a wood with him. No, he needs 2 wood. So you know what? Unfortunately, the goat get got. So he can take a pelt with him. Goat's also going to give us a food, which is going to go to waste. All right. Okay. So do I do another explore action? Do I do the hunt action? This says this goes next to the hunt deck. Again, I don't know what this means. Why doesn't it explain better what that token means? I know I've seen it before. does that mean I have to roll the hungry animal die? See, I really don't need to hunt. I'm gonna have enough. Yeah, the goat gave me the pelt. That's the only thing I would really want. I certainly don't need the food. So I think what we're actually gonna do is explore twice this round, and try and get, yeah. Keep the target. Use it once to remove any token or marker from an island, tile, or space. Don't think I can remove that though, so yeah, I'm not too worried about this. Worst case, I could roll 2 clouds here. Yeah, 2 clouds. Yeah, I think I'm okay. So yep, we're going exploring again, and it's got to be adjacent to our camp, so I guess it's going to be right there. All right, 2 explore actions. Here we go. Okay, so coming down here, we're not doing any of this stuff. We are building, however. Okay, so some stuff happened here. Friday was not successful, but he's also about to take 2 damage. But I can discard 2 of these, luckily, to re-roll. I guess one of these, it doesn't matter. Oh no. Okay, so either way, I get the 2 discovery tokens back because he can gain it, but I'm gonna lose Friday. Friday lost. We were not able to. He got struck by lightning trying to build our shelter, and so he is done. I'm gonna throw his token back in so I don't try and keep spending him, and he is flipped. All right, just me and the dog left. Man, that's unfortunate. Awful roll for him. Okay, so now we need to explore. So we will start here first. All right. Yeah, I will discard 2 to re-roll this die here. All right, and that makes us successful. Okay, so we're going to take a wound. We're going to have to do this. And this says put the question mark on the exploration deck and shuffle this into the event deck. All right, so something we just have to deal with later. Okay. All right, but we were successful, so let's pull you 2 off, and let's put out, come on, plains. No, another mountain space. Okay, so that adds another hunt thing, a temporary shelter, and a discovery token, which is this, and this says when doing a special explore action, draw 1 fewer mystery card. Okay, so that's nice to have. But still no idols. Ugh, is this going to come back and bite me in the butt? All right, there's got to be at least 4, because that's the total number they have to get to. All right. So yeah, I did everything else. We were successful. Now we have to go again for them. Okay, perfect. But I'm going to take another hit, and this is here, so now I have to deal with this card. Decide, discard this card or draw 3 mystery cards, only resolve 1 trap and 2 treasures, and shuffle into the event deck. I'm going to just discard this card. I don't want to have to deal with that. All right, I just want to be successful here. I want to find an idol. Nope. Oh boy. Okay. So 3 more tokens here. 1, 2, 3. I would love to find some wood. Here's a treasure. Here I can create poison if I have the pot. and nourishing larva again. So I've got more food than I know what to do with, and let's look for a treasure. Terrible scream. Oh, that's a trap. Scorpion. Nope. Blowgun. Nope. Giant snake. Nope. Helmet. Here we go. Keep this card. Starting next round, each time a player fights a beast, you can ignore one hit. Okay. Alright, so there's my treasure. Technically, I don't get it till next round, but I'm not going to bother putting the card up there. Alright. So these two guys were successful. Ooh, but we got our grassland. So that's what we needed. Let me put this right here. Okay. Alright, am I going to have time to do all that, though? Because I've done everything down here. I have lost Friday, though. I have to keep that in mind. Alright, so we have to roll the weather die. This is going to hurt. Okay, 2 rain clouds. I can discard 1 wood to get rid of... Hold on. I think I can discard food, too, which might be actually super helpful that I have all that extra food. Let's see here. Compare the total number of clouds to the current roof level, which is 0. Exceeds the roof level, you must discard 1 food and 1 wood for each cloud you are not protected from. All characters suffer 1 wood for each resource that cannot be discarded. Alright, so that's 2 clouds. I can discard 2 more food, though, so I'm only taking 1 hit. Unfortunately, that's going to drop my morale, but that's okay. Okay. So we survived the rain. There's not a single bit of this die that is blank, by the way. Alright, so now I need to eat. I'm going to lose this food. I get to keep the pelt. This is going to turn into 2 more food, which could be helpful next round. And I have my poison if I need it, and this if I need it. Alright. So let's see. Do I want to move camp? Yes, I do. I guess I need to be here, and we will put you up here. Okay. So we are starting round 5 now, which means that we have to flip over some tiles. Boom. And this, we don't need that token anymore. I will simply put this over here to help me remember that I explored that one. All right. Here, we'll put it right here. Boom. Okay. Yep. Round 5. We're good to go. Here we go. Another event. All right. So we have to put ash out on 2 more places. So we will put ash here and here. Okay. Cover up in the arranged camp action space. During the next arranged camp, you must discard that token instead of getting the usual benefit. That's fine. I don't have enough people to be arranging camp right now. All right. So this comes off. I lose levels that I don't have, which is fine. And this pushes down. That goes there. Morale. I get to move this up again. Gain 2 tokens and gain a health back. Boop. I get to gather resources, which is going to be another food and another wood. Oop, and there should be another hunt card out from last time. I almost missed that. Okay, so now we need to decide what we want to do with our people here. I have 4 more rounds, but I'm about to lose this space right here. I guess technically if I explore it real quick, it'll count towards my 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, I've explored all of the island tiles I need to explore. So, and really, okay, we can do this. Boom. we will be successful there, and we will build our rope like this. Yeah, I think that's good. I'm just going to deal with not having a roof. Yeah. Okay. I like that better. Remember, this is like a survival game. You can't do it all. Sometimes you just have to wing it. Okay, so going through here, we are doing build action first. Oh, and I am unsuccessful. I do not have anything that can re-roll brown dice. Yeah. So I'm going to take 2 morale tokens. And I have to deal with this. Shuffle into the event deck. Weak construction. That's not going to be fun at all. Okay, we have to deal with that in a minute. Alright, so this is a fail. These can come back. Before I do that, then, I want to make sure I'm going to get an idle. So I'm going to spend 2 tokens to look at these top 3 and make sure that one of these is going to give me an idle. Okay, so either one of these. I guess I'd rather have this one on top so I can move my camp to it. And luckily, I've sent 3 people. So I am automatically successful. Ba-ba! I don't need to roll the dice. I have accounted for this. There is no question mark. So basically, very easy peasy. We just come back like that. All right, I do get to gain a discovery token, and it is another goat. Look at that. That's not bad. Okay. Yeah, and that's it. So, moving through to the weather phase, I need to roll this, and we got 2 rain clouds again, so I can discard my 2 food and 1 wood. It means I'll have to take a hit. That means I take a hit on this, and that's all fine. Then coming down here, I will eat this food. I get to keep the goat, and I will move my camp to right here, which means I'll move my shortcut to back there. Mamma mia. Yep, that looks good. And this passes on to number 6, so this one would be flipped, but no longer. This one's going to flip there. All right. And, yep, we go here. So, the puma attacks. Okay, but that's fine. I feel like we are ready for this because we're going to use our pistol and shoot the thing in the face. All right. So, this is going to give us 5. All right, so we've defeated the 5. We don't take any wounds, plus we have our trusty helmet. We will have to reduce our weapon by 1 because the temporary is going to go away. But this thing is giving us 2 food, 1 pelt, and it would destroy our palisade, but we don't have any palisade to destroy. So all right, so the next event card is put a token here and put additional rain in the weather space. All right. And this is going to push off. So we have to put another token here in front of the hunt deck, which I'm not going to be hunting. And there we go. All right. And you know what? I'm pretty sure I should be taking damage 1, 2, 3 every time I don't have a palisade to reduce. So I think I'm back here. Anyways, event. This is going to push up. I get to push this back up. Gain 2 more morale. Yes. Let's do this. Let us 1, 2, 3. I'm going to discard 3 No. I'm going to wait. Okay. Alright, I need to gather resources. So my shortcut's allowing me to get 2 wood this time and a food. So I'm set to handle the rain for the most part. You know what? I'm going to spend one of these just to get a bread out there, just in case. Okay. Alright, so we know we need to explore again. And it's got to be right here. Explore, and then explore, and then I'm going to need the rope. I need the rope. So I need to go here to be successful with the rope. I need the rope in order to build the jolly boat. And I need some wood, which I need to stop losing. Oh, okay. Man, Friday. Having lost Friday is really hurting me here. Okay. All right. So let's see here. Going through along the bottom, we need to attempt to build first. Okay. So we cut our finger, and that's fine. We were successful, so we have officially built the rope. All right. Feel good about that. And then we come over here. We are as successful as we need to be in order to do this temple here. And it says, take an explore action, draw 4 mystery cards. But I've got... Hold on, there was something that said I could... Oh yeah, this. This one says, when doing a special explore action, draw 1 fewer mystery card. Okay, so I'll spend this, and so instead I just am doing 3 mystery cards again. Gorilla. Get 2, shuffle into the event deck. Okay, 1, 2. I'm 1 away from dying. Like I can't fight back. I'll shuffle that in a second, because this could be something else. Crooks. Build the pot invention for free, and without using an action. Nice. I will take that, actually. Okay. And a compass. Get 1 and put it on this card. You can use it multiple times as an additional pawn, only for... Okay, so we've got another one. Bonus. There we go. All right. Perfect. Super helpful, somewhat. Okay. All right. So what needs to happen now is I am going to, before I do anything else, I'm going to ixnay the goat again so I can gain a food. All right. Okay. And then I can use this during the night phase, which will be helpful. I can only use it once per night phase. All right, well, that's unfortunate. Okay, so I didn't really need to kill the goat. I have 3 pelts now. All right, so moving here, let's see. Okay, we got a frost, which is going to be one of my wood, unfortunately. Then we have to deal with 2 rain clouds, which is going to be 1, 2 food here. I can get rid of a pelt. All right, and then I will have to eat a food, and then I can spend 1 food to heal 1 here. Okay. Yeah, I don't need to use the herbs. Yeah, I could just use this now. I could just spend this now to get boom boom on my thing though. add poison to my knife. And I don't really need the herbs because I'm already up here. So, okay. All right. So I'm near-death experience here. This pushes on to round 7. So we are now losing this one. Is that supposed to have a white token on it? Because I've done this twice now. All right. Okay, so I have no place to send my shortcut to, which is unfortunate. All right, let's do an event card here. This one's already here. Put a thing in the weather space again. That might kill me right there. Okay, so this comes off. Each player discards 1, and we lose a morale, which is perfectly fine because I'm going to get it right back because I'm playing solo. So I get to gain 2 and heal up 1. All right. And then we will gather resources, which is going to be a wood and a food. Okay. And I definitely need to explore that one tile now. And I guess go ahead and build the jolly boat. I mean, we might as well just send everybody. I can only use these guys to do that. And then go here. I am going to spend 2 to look and make sure that the thing I'm exploring is going to have an idol, which it would have. Yeah, so we'll just do this one. I don't feel like I need to shuffle those other 2. I'm never going to pull them out. Okay, and then I'm also going to... Oh, I need some wood. So I can't do this yet. I need to gather. I need to do the gather action. Oh, but I'm going to lose wood. Okay. So I'm not going to have enough wood to build the jolly boat. All right, I'm going to spend 3 of these to draw 2 and keep one of these. Maybe there'll be some wood in here. Okay. What's this one? Ignore the effects of one trap or a fallen tree. We will keep the fallen tree for certain. I'm still going to need 1 more, though. 1 more wood. So I can't gather, so I guess I'm coming up here to build a roof level up with my pelt. Yeah, I have to explore. Okay. Alright, but I think I'm going to lose it anyways. I think I'm going to lose that wood. Alright. Maybe not. Okay, let's do this. I mean, this has to be successful. No. And I have no way of re-rolling those dice. So I think that's it. I think that just lost the game for me because I was unsuccessful there, unless there's some magical wood here. -1 to the Palisade. No, which I think I have to take a hit for, and then I shuffle this into the event deck. And yeah, I get to put this back. This guy comes back, but I think this is going to take away all my wood and stuff. Alright, I definitely am successful in my explore action. But I have to address this anyways. Okay, you've been scratched by thorny bushes and your arm burns. So I have to put this poison symbol on my arm. Right here, like so. And then if I don't address it in the near future, I will, my arm will fall off or something. All right. Let's see here. I don't know what else to do. We were successful in exploring, so I am going to get another token here, which is going to be a worker. Okay. And a totem. So I need to explore that one. I need to move my person onto the camp here. And let's see how I'm going to watch this. And now I have 3 rain clouds to deal with, which means 1, 2. I mean, even if I said I did not give up that and gave up this and another bread here, so there's my 3 bread, I would either die from taking too many hits, right? Because the weather die makes you take away, it was an and symbol, I believe. Then count all the clouds and compare the total with the current roof level. The roof level indicates how many clouds the characters are protected from. If the number of clouds exceeds the roof level, you must discard 1 food and 1 wood for each cloud you are not protected from. All characters suffer 1 wound for each resource that cannot be discarded. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Even if I were to discard this and even say that, and that, then I'm going to take a hit for starving to death. This comes down. I'm going to get 1 wood for this. I'd have to move my camp. These 2 get flipped over. Right? Means I would gain another wood at the beginning of the next round. So I'm still 1 short. I'd have to deal with this. What's this going to say? If possible, discard 1 wood. Are you serious? So best case scenario, I use my 3 morale tokens I would now gain. This would move up. Unless one of the... Yeah. Well, so look at that. There was the 3rd wood I needed, but the event card took it away from me. I could get rid of the old machete, get the fallen tree. I would have to be... I would go here to explore, and I would still have to be... Let's see if I was successful. Well, no, because I would have had to have already explored. Again, whew, it's not going to happen, because I would have had to have explored first. We build before you explore. So at this point, I cannot build the Jolly Roger to win because I have not explored my 3rd temple and dealt with... This one would have been 4 cards. There's a hit. There's a hit. 2 things. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I was not successful. Obviously, ignoring the roof level hurt. I guess not healing up Friday and him having some really bad rolls definitely hurt. I definitely did not do well on my build rolls. So there's some luck involved in the game. But it is a tough game. You are going to lose this game several, you're going to lose this scenario once or twice. So that's just the name of the game. But it is still a great game. The variety, every scenario feels different in how you play. So hopefully you enjoyed this game. Hopefully it gave you a idea of whether or not you might want to back Robinson Crusoe on Gamefound for the Collector's Edition. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more videos like this in the future, please consider subscribing to the channel. Once again, thanks for watching. Have a great day.